If the seed asked how life may begin in hidden form, the garden asks what kind of place allows life to continue well. Here the next threshold appears. A beginning may be true. A seed may be living. Much still depends upon the place in which that life must grow. The garden gathers that question into visible form. More is at stake than whether life is present. How is it arranged? What is nourished? What is given room? What is protected? What is cut back? What is allowed to ripen? What is left untended until it overtakes the rest? So the garden is more than a place where things grow. It is a place where growth is related. A garden differs from a field in one important way. A field may hold abundance. A garden holds attention. Paths, borders, spacing, supports, and seasons all reveal the same quiet truth. Life flourishes differently when relation becomes part of the tending. One plant needs shade, another asks for sun. One climbs, another spreads. One roots deep, another remains near the surface. One gives fragrance, another nourishment. One heals, another protects. None of these differences are erased. They are arranged. For that reason, the garden becomes an image of ordered life. Not rigid life, not lifeless order. Ordered life. That distinction matters. Order may serve life, or press life into something smaller than it is. The garden teaches a better form. Structure appears here so that life may unfold more fully, rather than so that everything may look controlled from a distance. When order serves life, it becomes intelligible. When fear alone shapes the order, what is growing begins to tighten beneath it. The garden lets the eye feel that difference. Nothing in a garden grows in isolation. Even what seems separate enters relation with soil, water, light, air, season, and neighboring life. Roots share ground. Leaves share weather. Blossoms draw what they need through forms of contact that remain largely unseen. A garden teaches interdependence without confusion. Each life remains itself, yet each life is shaped by what surrounds it. Part of what calms the eye in a garden comes from this. Relation is visible. Difference remains, and still a living harmony can emerge. The inner life has something of this character as well. A person is not made of one thing growing alone. Memory grows there. Fear grows there. Discipline grows there. Affection grows there. Habit grows there. Language grows there. Attention grows there. Resentment may grow there too. So may gratitude. So may courage. So may envy. So may restraint. More is always growing than first appears. The deeper question, then, concerns arrangement. What in a life has been given the center? What has been crowded out? What has been fed too often? What has been left without light? From here, the garden begins to teach proportion. Equal measure does not belong to everything. Equal room does not belong to everything. Equal devotion does not belong to everything. A climbing vine may be beautiful. Given too much rule, it can cover the wall and darken the window. A medicinal plant may be small. Placed well, it may serve more than its size suggests. So too within a person. A small discipline may support much. A passing resentment, indulged too often, may spread beyond its first wound. A vanity lightly tolerated may eventually ask for the center. A quiet truth, tended faithfully, may steady the whole interior ground. Measure becomes visible through consequence. To tend a garden is therefore to choose. Some things are watered first, some are thinned, some are tied to support, some are moved, some are cut back, some are allowed to finish their season and return to the soil. Some are protected while small, some are given wider spacing once they strengthen. Through such decisions, a garden becomes legible. Care is present there, not sentimental care, attentive care. Care willing to ask what each life requires and what the whole garden can bear. Pruning enters the image here. To an eye that sees only removal, pruning can look severe. Yet the gardener may cut so that life can travel more cleanly. Crowded growth may weaken fruit. Dead wood may burden a branch. Crossed limbs may wound one another in the wind. Too many shoots may divide strength that needed gathering. A quiet lesson lives there. Subtraction can sometimes serve abundance. Not every reduction is a loss. Sometimes, less crowding allows truer growth. What is cut away may not be the enemy of life. It may simply be more than this form can carry well. Care is needed here as well. A hand guided only by impatience may cut what had not yet finished becoming. A hand ruled by fear may leave a tangle untouched until all clarity is lost. So timing matters. Season matters. Knowledge of the living form matters. Violence dressed as decisiveness does not serve the garden well, nor does hesitation that never chooses. The wiser hand learns to cut with knowledge, to wait without neglect, and to see that timing is part of truth. No garden is finished in a day. That too belongs to the lesson. Paths may be laid quickly, beds may be marked, seeds may be planted. Maturity follows another rhythm. Sprout, leaf, blossom, fruit, seed again. Growth returns through sequence. A garden makes season visible. What appears empty in one month may be preparing in another. What is green now may soon withdraw. What seems spent may still be feeding roots below. What looks unfinished may only be early. Patience enters through recurrence. Patience here is not passive. The gardener watches. Weather shifts, insects arrive, mold spreads, dryness deepens, storms pass through. One strong plant begins taking the room of 3 smaller ones. Often the garden asks first to be noticed, and only then to be solved. That sequence matters. Some intervene before they have seen enough. Others keep watching long after action was needed. Another habit is being trained here. See clearly, then act proportionately. The image widens further at this point. A garden concerns more than individual plants. It also concerns the conditions that allow many forms of life to share one place without constant injury. A path keeps feet from crushing roots. A trellis lifts what climbs. A border protects tender growth from being mistaken for empty ground. A wall may hold warmth through the night. A basin may keep water where it is needed longer. Structure belongs here too, not as a cage, as hospitality. That word is worth keeping close. Hospitality. A good garden receives life in a way that helps it become more fully itself. Mint is not asked to become cedar. Vine is not asked to become stone. Blossom is not asked to bear fruit in the wrong season. Reception follows nature. Order follows relation. Something similar belongs to human life. A wise life does not demand identical unfolding from every part of itself or from every person near it. It learns form. It learns timing. It learns conditions. It learns how to prepare a place in which growth can happen without confusion becoming the law. The garden can also become a moral image. Not moral in the narrow sense of rule recitation. Moral in the older sense, concerning how life is shaped, what is cultivated, what is restrained, what is invited, what becomes habitual, what is allowed to take root. A neglected garden does not remain neutral. Something always fills the space. If nourishment is untended, depletion enters. If order is abandoned, crowding follows. If bitterness is watered, it branches. If gratitude is tended, it changes the climate of the whole place. Cultivation teaches the moral lesson here. Gentleness belongs to the lesson as well. A garden rarely changes all at once. One bed may be restored this season. One tree may take years. One vine may need cutting back many times before it grows cleanly. A patch of soil may need turning, feeding, and weather before it can carry what you hoped to plant there. Repair appears here without theatrical despair. Not everything has to be remade in one afternoon. Some work asks for return. Some healing asks for season. Some beauty appears only after repeated care has taught the ground to trust the hand. Bring this inward for a moment. If your life were a garden, what has recently been given too much room? What has been left without water? What has been growing simply because nothing stronger was planted beside it? What has been cut too harshly? What has been protected well? What in you needs support rather than pressure? Where might a small path be needed so that what matters is no longer trampled by what is merely urgent? Ask quietly. The garden answers slowly. A well-tended garden offers more than private beauty. It feeds, it studies, it shelters. It teaches the eye to read living order. Others may enter such a place and feel, even before they understand why, that care has shaped the ground. That too belongs to the image. What is cultivated inwardly does not remain inward forever. A rightly tended interior life changes the climate around it. It can become shade for another, nourishment for another, seed for another, rest for another. In that way, the garden extends beyond itself. The door opened, the cave gathered, the dragon guarded, the treasure asked for proportion. The return carried value home, the gift made value shareable. The seed taught hidden beginning. Now the garden reveals a further law. Life asks not only to begin, it asks to be rightly arranged. So the work continues, with soil, with season, with pruning, with patience, with relation, with care that can choose, with order shaped for life. Where such tending endures, something more than growth becomes possible, a place of living harmony.